Okay, today I want to break down my process for how I like to learn. Now, this has helped me get invoices like this, and this. So this isn't BS. This is stuff I've been doing for years to really help me improve. Right now, I'm focusing on improving my agency. And with agencies online, it is absolutely the most profitable business you can have right now. So again, I want to show you how I like to learn and build my skills. So number one is to have a overall vision for what you want to get better at. This is what helps me. I'm going to focus on this one specific thing and how it can change my entire life. Like I look at things like I don't want to learn about this thing or study it or pay attention to it if it's not going to actually help me in the long run. And I think sometimes we focus on things that just are a waste of time, obviously, like social stuff, reality TV, all of that. Right now, I'm focused on being more profitable in my agency. And what I do with my other company outside of this brand, Raw Entrepreneur, is I work with startups, I work with venture capital. It's a bunch of different things. I won't go into too much of it, but I have an agency where I work with companies on that side. Now, I realize that I'm good at what I do. I'm great at what I do. I've been working in podcasting with content and all of this stuff for over a decade now. I've launched over 50 shows. Maybe I got to start saying 75. It's like 75 now. A million plus downloads across a bunch of shows. I've worked in all the different industries, massive brands, gotten a ton of leads from podcasts, all of this stuff. And it works very well. But I realized that being great at the thing you do is different from being great at being able to do it, if that makes sense, right? So think about it this way. If you are a great basketball player, you might not always be a great coach. We see that with Michael Jordan. Very simple. Terrible GM. Great player. One of the best ever. Y'all can argue about that in the comments, but like just really think about this for a second. One of the worst GMs we've ever seen. Absolutely atrocious, right? And so I thought like, man, I need to get better at specific things if I'm going to do this agency thing at the highest level. And high level to me in agency means I have 5 clients, 3 to 5 clients at a time. They're paying me at least 5 figures a month and it's consistent, right? Pretty simple. I wanted to keep it very, very simple so I can just focus on execution here. Now it's about the action and execution. What are you actually going to do? How are you going to learn? For me, I like to learn by consuming a lot of information about that specific subject. I think the best way still to learn a lot of things and retain information, build skills, all of that. Books. I know books get a lot of hate and all of that, but books are life changing. And I like to read 2 to 3 books at a time, like literally a chapter a day, or maybe 10 pages at the least. Like I don't try to overload myself. I'm not trying to read a book in a day. Like that's unnecessary. But like I want to complete the book in a week or two, right? So I can focus on executing what I learned from said book. And I don't even read through all the books all the time. I don't think that's necessary. I think some books need to be studied. I'm going to show you my 3 that I'm using right now. The first one is Fanatical Prospecting. And this is, I have on Audible because the kind of book it is, it's really motivational in a way. It gives you some strategies and tactics, but it's more motivation and mindset because there's really a lot of what selling is you got to have the mindset to not get discouraged when you go knock on that door. You know what I'm saying? They slam the door in your face, or when you're cold calling and people hang up on you. You can't be discouraged when you don't get your way in sales. And that book is really teaching me how to execute on prospecting and be essentially relentless. Like one of my favorite parts in the book is where it talks about the luck of prospecting. Of like, if you just are consistent about prospecting, then you're eventually going to have luck. Like it's going to fall into your lap. Anybody that's done sales knows it's a numbers game, bro. How many people did you reach out to? How many cold emails did you send? Are you following up? It's numbers. Like you got to fill up your pipeline so you have even more people to follow up with. When you have the sales call and they say no, you got to follow up with them. Like it's all of it is it's a structure you have to follow, and you got to be relentless to really sell at a high level. And for me, I consider if you're going to make over $10,000 a month, I know for everybody out there that already is past that, I know that's not high level to you. I know. I'm saying to the average person, if you're going to start selling today, right now, and you want to get to that 10K is, I think, the barometer for most people because that's going to equal the 6 figure amount that everybody seems to want. Let's start there. I think you have to be relentless if you're going to sell at that level, bro. Like if you're going to sell and reach that level at 10K a month, whatever product you're selling, if you have a offer where it's 2,500 bucks, you need 4 closes a month. You're probably going to need to talk to 80 prospects. And that's just direct conversation. you need maybe 3 times as many people to see the actual offer, but then have several more direct conversations. You know what I mean? And again, it all varies and depends on all of that stuff. But Fanatical Prospecting is an incredible book. If you're trying to figure out how to get more leads and start more conversations, build more relationships, that book is just absolutely game changing. And again, the audiobook version for me is great. Some people might want the hard copy. I don't want a hard copy for every single book. I like to have the audiobook because that's the thing I want to listen to while I'm working out or cleaning up or something, and have it kind of ingrained in my mind, if that makes sense. Like the mindset stuff, I like to replay that over and over directly in the ear so I can have it in my mind. Now, the second thing I wanted to learn was selling. Now, I've done a lot of selling, bro. I've done door-to-door sales. I've done multi-level marketing sales. I've done the worst sales you could think of. So I've been in the trenches, cold calling, all of it. I've done it. And I realized that while I'm good at selling, I'm not great. There's a difference, right? And I've got to see people now who have gone, and I've seen people sell $50,000, $100,000 offers right in front of me. And it's insane, like high level agency stuff. And I'm like, wow, okay. And now I know what it takes, right? So I'm like, I need to build more of the right skills to sell at that level consistently. How do I do that? This is one of the books, and I hope it's coming up properly. Selling. Spin selling. It's a new way to look at selling, right? And it really breaks down how a lot of stuff we're told about selling, and you got to do this and you have to do that. It's just a little overrated, to be honest, because you have to find a way that works selling for where you are, if that makes sense. Like if I'm selling something that is $25,000, I can't sell that as if I'm selling something that is, $5,000 or $100. The conversation is going to be different there. I can tell you selling something for $100, that's not even a phone call. Like at $100, bro, either you buy it or you don't. That's simple. But for that product that's $25,000, yes, it's going to be 3 to 4 sales calls. It's going to take sometimes a month. And in that time frame, the phone calls are long too. When you're on Zoom with these people, it's like 2-3 hours. Again, I've done this, so I know it's going to take you like 2 hours on this sales call. Then you come back and do another one, and then you're going to have a third one where they bring in somebody else. And I'm not even mad at it. I understand that that's part of the process. But if you sold the 25K thing like you sell the $100 thing, it's going to go bad for you. And that's what this book talks about. And I love how it breaks down like how to prevent objections. Like these tactics in this book are insanely good because it opposes a lot of stuff you're taught about selling originally. Because I've taken sales training and stuff before. I've gone to seminars and stuff like that. I'm big on investing in myself, but this type of book is really good. And I've been looking for something like this. It's different because what I'm selling, who I'm selling it to, it's completely different. I'm in a whole different world, and I can't go with the same approach everybody else does. It just wouldn't work. Because if 50 other people are selling this thing in this same way, I got to make sure I'm over here doing it differently so my business can actually be successful. Now, the third thing here is I want to make sure that I can prospect at a high level, I can sell, and then when I do get those clients, that I retain those clients. And in the world of venture capital, it is all about relationships. Who you know, how they feel about you, what they think, that stuff matters. Because a lot of these investors, they know each other, right? So I've had so many on my podcast at this point that after I talk to one, sometimes I don't even refer the next one. I don't have to ask or anything. They just send them over to the show, which is great. I love it. And I realize like the reputation stuff matters way more now than it has before. And before I've had bad relationships with, prospects or clients, even business partners. I've had stuff go bad, and it's not always my fault, even though I take 100% accountability for it. But now I want to get to a point where it's perfect, right? A seemingly perfect reputation. You know what I mean? And I'm really, really prioritizing this and taking it very, very seriously. The book for this subject is The Trusted Advisor. Again, an incredible, really good book. This is the 20th century edition. It's like the new version. But I love this book right here. This is one of my favorites now because it shows you how to build those relationships and reminds you of why it's important. I don't think this is a book that needs to be studied, but it's something you got to read at least one time, maybe twice, because you have to really process the difference between just selling something and then sending somebody on their way, and then selling something and building a quality relationship. And I think in venture capital, there's no better example of why you need to build quality relationships. Like these venture capitalists who are investing in companies are doing that over a 10-year period. Like, think about that. That's a whole decade, bro. That's a long time. That is a lot of life. That's 10 birthdays, 10 Christmases, all of that. Like, I think about it that way. So I want to be able to work with a client in 2026, and then in 2037, they're still like, damn, man, working with Chris was amazing. Like, that's the kind of approach I want to have. And again, this book is giving me the right tactics, bro. I just don't think you can find a better book on this. One of my favorite sections is when it talks about onboarding, because I think onboarding at a high level, when somebody's paying you like 20 grand, is such a different process. Because somebody buys you, buy $100 thing, you just send them a couple emails or whatever, invite them to a community, and then bang, that's done. When somebody pays you $20,000, 25, 50 grand, that's a whole different approach. Like, you got to really customize their experience, tailor it to exactly who they are and where they are, what they want, need, all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this book is really putting it in a perspective of like, okay, you got to upgrade the onboarding experience. Like, and I think if you combine the things that are in this book in terms of building relationships with what we can do with AI, it will quite literally change your life. Literally. Like, I already have a system I've set up, and I'm gonna just give you some game on this. I'm low-key ranting, but stick with me, right? I set up a system a while ago. When I first started podcasting, I did this, where whenever somebody books on my calendar through Zapier and all of that stuff, I get them added to my HubSpot account. And then on HubSpot, I have their name, email, and now HubSpot has a great AI tool, so I can find all kind of details on them if I need to. But outside of that, probably one of the best parts is it shows me when I last contacted this person. You might think, why is that important? Part of building relationships is keeping a relationship, talking to people, not asking them for something or just reaching out when you want to sell, just reaching out like, hey, what's going on? And this automation is an absolute game changer, because let's just go through the whole process, right? If I prospect fanatically and I find 100 prospects in a week, then I do all the outreach, schedule the calls, all of that stuff. I end up having, let's say, 15 sales calls within a 2-week time frame. It could stop right there, but because I'm building the relationships, I close on, let's say, 2 clients out of those. Now, I know it seems like a really bad look, but out of all those people I prospected, I'm still going to have their information. So when I just follow up with them, they go back to the beginning of the cycle. That's the power of this process. And this brings me back to why I said I like to learn things in kind of like a group. I don't want to just go learn one thing, because when you put it all together, it has to have a real big purpose, in my opinion. Like, if I'm going to learn to play the piano, I'm also going to learn how to play the piano, how to read music, how to sing, because all of those go together. It just makes logical sense, right? Now, yeah, it might take you longer to become, the best or super good and great at it. Yeah. But I'm okay with that. I would rather sacrifice more time to be great at it and get a whole encompassing skill, right? These 3 books are helping me build the skill of attracting prospects, having the sales calls, closing the deals, and then retaining clients and building quality relationships. I think if you build this package of skills, you can be like practically rich overnight. Like, honestly, I know that sounds crazy, but think about it, bro. We live in a world right now where like a teacher could quit their job right now and go and teach whatever they teach in school online and like tutor students and have communities where they charge the parents. Like, parents are paying $5,000, $10,000 to decorate their children's dorm when they go to college. You don't think they would pay a tutor $1,000 a month? I'm pretty sure they probably are. I can almost guarantee some tutor out there is making a ton of money. A ton of them are. I can guarantee that exists, right? And I just think the world is in such a different place now where if you have a skill and then you know how to market that skill, sell that skill, and then you build relationships with the people you're selling to, you will build an incredible life. So I think in the future, we're going to get to a point where we don't have money anymore. And it comes down to what skills you have, right? Because when we get rid of money, you got to be able to trade off of something. It's going to be what you know and who you know, right? What are you willing to do? How can you actually help somebody? I mean, how can you actually help somebody? If I come to you with a problem, can you solve that problem? Like the guys that are handy who could build anything, like my dad can build anything. I saw him build a doghouse out of scraps in like 5 minutes before to avoid $1,000 fine. Like, can build anything. That type of person will never be poor, ever. You always have an endless amount of skills. And I just think this is where we need to get, where you need to get as an individual, where you have quality skills that complement each other. Don't just go and grab skills off the shelf, because then it's like paying a bunch of money for certifications that don't really align with who you are and what it is that you want long term. You got to build skills that fit together, they flow, it's seamless, that makes sense. Like if I want to build the skill of being an interior designer, I'm going to learn a bunch of stuff about that and then things that go along with it. Maybe I'll learn things about the colors and all of that, like what colors go together and feng shui and everything. Like I'm going to learn stuff that goes together. Not just, I see people learning, like I'm going to learn how to code and I'm learning how to do this way over here where I'm like an artist or something. Like that doesn't make sense. Now I get it if you're multifaceted, but when you can focus that energy just a little bit, harness it a little bit, give it a little bit of structure, that's how you could build incredible wealth. If y'all like these style videos where I'm just showing you the process of what I'm doing, what I'm up to, let me know down in the comments below. I'm Chris. I will see you next time.